Hi, welcome to Gillette's YouTube channel. Today we'll be covering how to sit. So a lot of you who may have anterior pelvic tilt will be looking for ways to get out of it. And I'm telling you right now that if you sit properly, it's really going to help you get out of anterior pelvic tilt faster. But even if you don't have anterior pelvic tilt, this is how you can stay out of excessive anterior pelvic tilt following these tips. The first tip is the backrest. We need to be using a backrest at all times. If you're, for instance, here Sam, let's have you go a little bit forward. First off, forgot to introduce Sam. Thanks Sam for being the sit model today. If you are typing away at a computer, possibly at home, you may not be using a backrest at all times, and what that's going to do is increase the demands of your low back and your hip flexors to keep you upright, which are also the muscles that produce excessive anterior pelvic tilt. However, if you do use a backrest, let's sit back here a little bit, it turns off those low back muscles and those hip flexor muscles a lot, so that if you add up all the hours in a day, that's a lot of time that you're turning those muscles off and helping out any chance of anterior pelvic tilt happening. Okay. The second tip is sitting upright. So a lot of people will go into like a military type posture where they're sitting like getting as tall as possible, and that's a mistake. We don't really want to do that. That's going to cause a different set of problems than anterior pelvic tilt. But what I encourage people to do is to get as tall as possible first, right? So Sam, get super tall, yep, super tall, and then I want you to go down like an inch or two. That is going to be neutral posture. So I'm going to use a dowel stick. So Sam, just for demonstration purposes, let's assume that this dowel stick is part of what your part of your backrest, and let's scoot out this way a couple inches, and I'm going to put this on here, and let's get that head back, because even the head is going to be really, really critical for not putting undue stress on the neck and those cervical vertebrae. So as you can see, Sam is upright. If this were her backrest, she'd be fully supported. Her head's not falling forward. Thoracic spine is good. She's not putting a stretch, so she's not rounded over. That can kind of put a stretch on those back muscles, kind of, which can pull that pelvis up and pull you into an anterior pelvic tilt. So this is really good. I have to recommend one thing, that if you have a hard time staying upright and you tend to lean over, you need to get a roll. And this happens to be a McKenzie roll. I really like the McKenzie rolls. There's a lot of different ones. But generally I've tried all of them. What it will do automatically is to cue you to sit upright if this is on where you sit at, either at work or at home. So I highly recommend getting a McKenzie roll. They're awesome. Okay, the next tip is, depending on your height, you need to make sure that your feet touch the ground. If your feet cannot touch the ground, your hip flexors are activated, and that just pulls your pelvis forward into anterior pelvic tilt. So the feet have to be on the floor. They have to be on something. If you're on a high bar stool, for instance, put them on the, usually the bar stools will have some ledge that you can put them on, but you need to have your feet flat on the floor. I'm gonna get this set up properly here. So Sam, let's lean back again. The last tip is get up every 20 to 30 minutes. Set an alarm on your phone. Set an oven alarm. Do something. Get up during commercial breaks while you're watching your favorite TV show here, right? You just have to get up and not stay sitting. There is a property of muscles. It's called creep. What creep does is it tends to have your muscles stay locked into that same position the longer you're in that position. So the more you get up, the more flexible and loose that your muscles will remain. If you have any questions or comments, please post them below. Thank you.